In the disputed waters of the South China Sea, a Chinese warship moved head-on toward the American destroyer, USS Higgins. No missiles launched, no shells fired, yet the risk of a spark igniting a regional war was terrifyingly real. The Higgins was no easy target. Built to dominate any ocean, it carried the weight of American credibility. And now, two superpowers were locked in a standoff where retreat meant weakness and persistence meant danger. On August 13, 2025, at 7:46 a.m., the South China Sea's calm turned to steel. The Higgins and Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer approached Scarborough Shoal. Suddenly its radar filled with contacts. Then a voice crackled over the radio, sharp and accented, "US warship, you are in Chinese waters. Leave immediately." It was more than a warning. It was a direct challenge to America's right to operate in the world's most contested waters. Grey silhouettes appeared on the horizon, Chinese warships racing in wakes, slicing the sea, cutting close to the Higgins. They pressed tight on its starboard side, sending a message: this is China's turf. For Washington, this was freedom of navigation, a deliberate mission to reject Beijing's sweeping claims. For Beijing, it was sovereignty non-negotiable. The Higgins, 155 meters long, displacing 9,000 tons, held course. Its crew knew the drill: steady speed, minimal chatter. Every degree of the helm, every meter closed, carried meaning. Guns stayed silent, but tension was explosive. China wanted the destroyer to falter or retreat. America refused. Scarborough Shoal is more than rocks in the sea. It is the front line between international law and raw power. According to the 2016 Hague Tribunal ruling, the shoal lies inside the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. For Filipino fishermen, these waters mean survival. But Beijing rejects the ruling, clinging to its 9-dash line, a claim stretching across almost the entire South China Sea. In practice, Chinese Coast Guard and militia ships block, harass, and enforce dominance. International law lies on paper. Power decides reality. When Beijing declared the Hague ruling null and void, it exposed a brutal truth: without force, law is fragile. Scarborough became a global symbol of imbalance: small nations with justice, big nations with might. The United States stepped in not out of charity, but to keep sea lanes open. Freedom of navigation operations put steel on the water, reminding Beijing and the world that oceans are not Chinese lakes. But these patrols ignite a war of words. Chinese state media declare that American ships are driven away. Washington insists the missions end exactly as planned. Neither side shows proof. The result: two competing realities. Beijing tells its people, "We are strong, we hold the line." Washington tells allies, "We are steady, we will not yield." Between these narratives lies the risk of miscalculation. Words can be as dangerous as warships. Yet behind the rhetoric are weapons lethal, ready waiting. The Higgins carries the Aegis Combat System SPY-1D radar that tracks hundreds of targets SM-2 and ESSM missiles for air defense, Tomahawks for land strikes, harpoons for sinking ships. Close in the phalanx, CIWS spits thousands of rounds per minute, a wall of steel. Add electronic warfare, and the Higgins becomes a floating fortress. China counters with its sharpest blades, Type 052D destroyers with YJ-18 anti-ship missiles, fast, long-range, deadly. HHQ-9 missiles guard against air attack. Phased array radars close the technology gap. Smaller Iro-54A frigates add numbers and flexibility. This fleet is not background theatre. It is Beijing's declaration that it can stare down America at sea. But weapons alone don't decide standoffs. Tactics matter. The US kept calm, steady course, steady speed, no provocations. Professionalism itself was a weapon. China pressed hard, dangerous close passes, aggressive radio calls, constant psychological pressure. The goal was to create dramatic footage, then broadcast it as proof of defiance. It wasn't only about America. It was a message to Vietnam, Malaysia, the Philippines, look, even the US must bend before us. The tension on deck was palpable. A single wrong move, a misread signal, and the clash could have gone hot. Missiles are fast, but miscalculations are faster. This confrontation was not isolated. It is part of a larger cycle. China has staged amphibious drills, missile tests, and constant patrols across disputed waters. Coast Guard and militia ships push Filipino fishermen back with water cannons. Each incident is filmed, spread online, turned into a headline. Scarborough is not just reefs. It is a theatre where every act is political. Others have started to respond. For the first time, India and the Philippines held joint naval drills in the South China Sea. Small in scale, big in meaning. Manila signalled it is not alone. New Delhi showed it is ready to project power in the Indo-Pacific. Meanwhile, the US and the Philippines expanded their defense pact, granting America access to more bases, some close to Taiwan. For Beijing, this looks like encirclement. For Washington, it is deterrence. Each clash at Scarborough tightens the spiral. China escalates, neighbors seek allies, America deepens its presence. The region becomes a tinderbox, where fishermen, frigates, and freedom of navigation collide in a struggle that shapes global trade. Because make no mistake, the South China Sea is not only about territory, it is about trillions of dollars in shipping energy routes and the principle that oceans belong to all, not to one. If China locks down these waters, global trade shifts under its control. If America holds the line, the rule-based order survives. For Beijing, toughness abroad bolsters legitimacy at home. State media hammers the message the party defends sovereignty. For Washington, credibility with allies is at stake. If America looks weak, allies like Manila doubt its promises, and China grows bolder. Every US patrol near Scarborough is a lifeline to alliance trust. And yet neither side offers verifiable proof of what happens at sea. Instead, the world is left with dueling narratives. A clash of perception where belief becomes as valuable as bullets. In this war of stories, propaganda can shape reality as effectively as missiles. Still beneath the fog of words lies the harsh truth: the sea is armed, the crews are trained, and the risks are real. The August 13th standoff ended without fire, but the line between restraint and war is paper thin. Each encounter is a gamble with peace. Scarborough has become a litmus test. Will international law prevail, or will might decide the future? Will smaller nations trust alliances or resign to Chinese dominance? Will the US prove its resolve or allow narratives to erode its credibility? History shows that wars don't always start with grand declarations. Sometimes they start with a close pass, a warning shouted over radio, a collision no one intended. That is why the South China Sea matters. It is a pressure point where the balance of power for the 21st century is being tested reef by reef, patrol by patrol. Scarborough Shoal is not just a reef. It is a question: who writes the rules of the sea? China insists it does. The US says international law does. The world waits, watching warships dance dangerously close, knowing one misstep could ignite the fire everyone fears. Real strength is not in missiles but in restraint. Peace is fragile. Every nation has a choice: escalate or preserve stability. For now, both sides walked away without firing. But the shadow of conflict lingers over every wave in the South China Sea. And that is the truth. Navy Secrets brings you behind the silence of guns lies the roar of rivalry, a contest that will shape not just Asia, but the future of global order. If you value these insights, support us. Like, subscribe and share. because understanding these confrontations is the first step to preventing the war they threaten to unleash.